everything you've had so far has been in simple interest, and your formula for that was I equals PRT. And so let's just suppose, let's make up some things. Let's suppose you had $5,000 at a 5% interest rate, and you were going to keep the loan for, let's say, 3 years. And so the interest on that loan will be 5,000 times 5% times 3. And so you would simply take your calculator and do 5,000 times 5% times 3, and you would end up with $750. And that would be your interest. So if this were a loan, like let's say you were buying a car and you did this, you would actually end up paying $57.50, because you would take the 5,000 plus the $750, and you would end up paying $57.50 for that car. Now what compound interest does is it takes and it does it a year at a time, and it charges interest on top of the interest. So let's take a look at the compound interest. Let's take the same $5,000 and let's take the same interest rate. And if we did 5,000 times 0.05 for the first year, so just times 1, so 5,000 times 0.05 is equal to $250. So that's the first year. So now we would take 5,250, which is the 5,000 plus the 250, times 5%. We would say 5,250 times 5%, and we would get 262.50. So we would take the 262.50 plus the 52.50 that we already had, and now we would have 5512.50. And we would be charged the 5% on that one now. So 5512.50 times 5% is 275.63. So over the course of 3 years, the first year we'd been charged $250, the second year we had been charged $262.50, and the third year we had been charged $275.63. So if we add those three things together, we get $788.13. Now, if you remember, before we did 5,000 times 5% times 3, and we got $750. Now, if you think about this for just a minute, the $750 was the simple interest. And if this were you and you were purchasing a car and you did simple interest, you would only have to pay the bank back $750 extra on top of the $5,000. If you did compound interest, you would be paying the bank $788.13. So let me ask you, which is better for the bank? Compound interest or simple interest? If you're paying the bank back, they're of course going to want the larger amount. So most of the time, the bank is going to do compound interest on things like car loans and things like that. If you are making an investment, you're going to also want the compound interest, and you're probably going to end up with simple interest. So that's the difference between the two types of interest that we have.